So I'll just wait a while people join. Nice, and it's going over to yours as well. Sweet. Okay. So we are live. We've got 4 or 5 people in. People are piling in. They want to see Jake and Lee, HYZEN X, HashGraph hustlers. HYZEN, they're doing some awesome stuff when it comes to AI, and we're gonna hear all about it. We've got Higher Grounds showing his support. Shout out Higher Grounds.
Yeah, so thanks for having us on, Jay. Pretty interested in getting to know the community a little bit more. I'm getting to know yourself a little bit more on the show as well. We don't usually come on a lot of streams and talk about what we're building at HYZEN, but yeah, it's a good idea and a good opportunity for us to really share about what we've been doing majority in the background and what Lee's been building as well. For us, but hopefully we'll get Watusi coming in as well a bit later on.
Oh, looks like he's just joined actually. Let me get Watusi in now.
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, what's up, Watusi?
Yo, what's going on? Hey,
all good, man. All good.
You hear me?
We can hear you good, bro.
Yeah,
can you hear us?
Let me hey, I haven't gotten my mic plugged in. Sorry about that. Hey guys, what's going on?
You can hear us?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
That's very. Sorry. So Watusi, just so we sort of get back on track. Obviously, we just kicked off the stream. I think we'll go around quick bit of introductions. What is HYZEN? What are you guys building? And then we can also. I'm really interested in seeing some of the stuff live. Jake's got his screen up and ready to start sharing. So we'll just keep it casual. Hear about HYZEN. Hear about what you've got. Go over to the stream, and then I think just a few questions and answers based on some of the comments I've been getting in my Twitter.
Yeah, brilliant.
Over to you, back to you, bro, Jake.
Yeah. Basically at our core, we're an AI platform and generative AI aggregator. So basically we try and bring in any worthwhile AI modalities and workflows into one place. And that's what HiBot is. So right now, HiBot is live on our Discord as one of the most comprehensive AI aggregators on Discord. And so you can access 194 large language models, loads of text to video models, text to image, video to video, 3D model generation, character generation, which is a little bit similar to what you're doing at Hello Agents, the character generation side. And there's a lot of other modalities in there as well, such as like advanced image editing models, upscaling images, search and replacing images, restoring backgrounds, all these different use cases built into one bot. So the aim of that really is just to, make it easy accessible to anyone who wants to come in a server, pay a couple of credits to use whatever AI service they want to use when they need it. And right now we offer 2 forms of payment, which is our token high and then HBAR as well. And I can show you on screen here. Can you see that, Jay?
Yeah, you can see that, mate.
Yeah, so you can come into our server. So this is our HYZEN server. So once you join, you'll see the usual channel columns here. And in our tool section, we have a HiBot channel. And just like slowly go through this here, you can see there's a couple of people who've come in and use certain tools within there. A couple of videos generated by the community there, but when you come into the server, it does look slightly confusing, and we want to make it as easy as possible for everyone to use our tools. Right now HiBot is in our server. You can access it in DM, and you can add it to your own server. So we do have a guide here. So if you just put /guide in, you'll see at the HiBot at the top here. And you can choose a section. So you'll have the overview of the guide, which will explain all these different modalities as well. The credit section. So if I enter on the credit section now, you can see that you can check the current balance of credits and using check credits. You can buy credits using buy credits. So if I go and buy some credits now, sorry if I'm being too quick, just let me know. You can go buy credits. So I want to buy 100 HBAR worth of credits or 100 high. So if I send that, it'll come up with to purchase the credits for this server. So it's important to know wherever you're purchasing the credits is where it's going to top up. So if you're topping up this server, it's going to make the credits accessible in this service to everyone.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Or if you do it in DM, and then you'll have your own private experience with the bot.
Right.
So if you're go on, Jay, sorry.
Yeah. Just going to ask a quick question here. So this would be essentially if I have 100 credits on this particular server, other people can then use those credits to interact with the bot.
Exactly, but if you do it in DM, you'll have your own. There'll be your credits. So server owners could add HYBot and top up their server for like their users.
Cool.
Say if you're a meme community and you want people to create content for your meme project, you could top up your server as a founder. Be like the community can fire away with some, generating some content for that, which is cool. But yeah, as you can see, the account IDs are there. So obviously you put in your account ID, you can copy that, and then you'll get a unique memo every time. Yeah. It's kind of similar to, depositing onto an exchange, but it's a unique memo every time. That's the only difference, really, in terms of that. And I think it's the safest way to, deposit credits is this way. So once you've done that, you'll get a message saying that you have enough credits here, and you can use the check credits, send that, and then it'll tell you how much credits are in the server. So we've got 2,986 high at the moment, and I'm not sure why it says minus 2.74 HBAR Lee, but I don't know if you want to get into that. But yeah,
there is a little bit. So the credit check just makes sure you have a positive balance. So it does let you go a tiny bit into debt, but not much.
But yeah, as you can see, Lee just generated before high stream. But I'll show an example of something we can do. So we can generate a 3D model. You can choose what file you want to add to that. And there's two more options here. What model do you want to use? So we've got 4 3D models right now in HYBot. So there's Trellis, there's Hyper 3D, which is currently probably the best one. And there's Stability 3D, and there's Tripper SR as well. And the goal is really just to add more advanced features, as many advanced features as possible into one area. Same with the video models and all the different things. The character generation as well. I will like to show you a bit of that. But for character generation, sorry about this. You go create a character. So you'll choose your character's name, include the profile picture of the character, the description of the character, the system prompt, obviously the way it behaves and acts, like a bit like your BSL defender. The dark forces, we're protecting you against dark forces. Exactly. Like let's include that in the system prompt. But yeah, that's basically the goal with the bot, is just to aggregate every worthwhile AI workflow into one place. Once we distribute that across different servers and people can host it, server owners can get a cut of the profits from the bot. So we can get that across as many different servers as possible. And then we'll have the HYBot web version, which will be more user-friendly, because we know like everyone doesn't use Discord and they're not familiar with it. But then we'll have a Telegram bot as well. So we'll try and get it across as many front ends as possible, if that makes sense.
But it's awesome. We've got some big love in the comments over here. So we've got, Silent Architect, this is a sick concept. Gives me a reason to consider using Discord again. I absolutely love that, man. And Higher Grounds, he's been dabbling with it, easy and 6 use. So it's really cool that I've got a lot of questions on sort of on the architecture side, technical stuff, also on the commercial business side. But I've got my first one, which is just what was the decision behind going for Discord first, as opposed to going first with the website? How did you sort of make that decision? What were the pros and cons of other potential clients?
I think I'd let Lee answer that one, because obviously he's the brain box behind the aggregator itself. But yeah, Lee, if you wanted to fire away on that.
Yeah, sure. So I'd say there's 2 main reasons for that. So the first is that Discord as a platform, the AI bots that were previously on there were quite lacking in terms of feature sets. So there's not really any massive AI platforms on Discord. There's a few specific bots that might generate an image with one model. Also in like Midjourney, where you get Midjourney's toolset. But then you have HYBot, which is one of the most comprehensive AI platforms anywhere. And you have that inside of Discord. So because of that, we have the most comprehensive Discord AI bot there is anywhere by far. I think by multiple times over. Like, I doubt anyone could even find something with a fifth of the features.
Yeah.
So there's another reason, which is that I started a lot of my dev work with bots. So I'm very comfortable with Discord bots. So it was a natural place to start something like this. And we can have it available on a server. So you can have these collaborative environments where everyone can work on AI together. And you can see now in the HiBot channel, if anyone goes into our server, you can go and use that demo right now and it'll show up on the stream, because then everyone can just come together and make gens together. So we can show off some other features on the stream right now in this public channel, so anyone can come and join in what we're doing, which is quite a lot of fun. So yeah, it's mostly because of the lack of AI competition on Discord and because of my own familiarity with Discord bots, basically, yeah.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Sorry to interrupt. I think you can add as well, like you can scale on Discord, across different servers and things. Like we can scale, like the actual product itself can, get across multiple different servers without us knowing, areas of DMs without us knowing. And it can scale, like we can be in, alpha chats, we could be in AI chats, we could be in meme communities, we can be in, have our own servers or in private servers, to do this. I think scaling is like a big factor in that as well. And obviously with the web app, we know people are going to use that as well, but it's sort of fun, at times. Like I've had really good fun, creating different things with people in there and, laughing around at what we're generating and stuff like that. But yeah, it's
I mean, to be honest, like me on a personal level, I think you made an amazing decision to go on Discord, and naturally it was a obviously in terms of getting it shipped out quickly, Lee's got that experience, but also the beauty of generative AI and this sort of chatbot user interface is that actually you don't need a web application which has a graphical user interface anymore. You just need to have a chatbot. So I'm pretty bullish on things like Discord, on things like Telegram as well. I mean, they've got a really, really user-friendly API to create bots. Lee, you would have an absolute blast on there. And actually, even earlier, I was thinking maybe you could have like you could create like a dedicated AI model which maps Discord logic over to Telegram logic, because broadly it's going to be quite similar. You've got your commands, you've got your responses, you've got and obviously your business logic. So I'm looking at it like I strongly think that there's going to be a big trend of people now using chatbots, using text applications, WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord. WhatsApp's got a really crappy user experience for devs, but it's obviously really, really widely used in order to actually interact with things. Because now you can, I mean, maybe not now, so it's a bit premature now, but definitely soon. And we sort of mentioned this in our pre-chat. You'll be able to do things like watch movies via chat, or interact with a movie while chatting, or book a taxi inside of WhatsApp and go, okay, you could do a voice note, boom, yeah, pick me up from here, please, mate, I need to go over there. And then it will transcribe it. It will goes, okay, you're saying here, what's your location? Send that in, package it up in a request body for Uber API, and then book it for you. Like, these things are sort of become trivial. So I think, no, it's really cool. And sorry, going on a bit, I want to see more. But what I also really loved is how you said the fact that scalability point, it can go into other servers and you can have a community which is trying to create memes. You've got a big community around a coin and they're collaborating, having a good time with each other, creating stuff. And then you can have, I mean, the limits are really endless. You can have like customize. Have you thought about enabling creators to create their own agents on top of your thing? Because maybe that's where a collaboration could start.
Yeah, I mean, like the character creation is basically creating, within the bot right now, it's like, making that large language model, behave in a certain way and have a system prompt. So the bot is essentially, yours in a way, or like yours for your creation. But yeah, I'm not sure, Lee. Right now, I think we're focused on getting the web app out, getting some other tools out, and then, we'll definitely step into some sort of area like within agents, like you're saying. Lee, I don't know if you want to just
I can get in a bit on that. So something we've had for a while, which we haven't released yet, which is being released after the web app, is our API, which will combine everything inside a HiBot into a super easy to use API. So you have one single entry point to all these different services. It's an API aggregator / gateway, basically. So you can access all these different proprietary APIs, like connecting things like Runway, Kling, Minimax, etc., all the image models, Imagen 3, Flux, etc., and all these different text models. So in terms of agents, they're really just architecture built on top of the base LLMs.
Yeah.
So you have if you have an API that can provide the LLMs, then you can build agents on top of those APIs. So that is somewhere where we will become more of an infrastructure provider for different services built outside of our platform. But yeah, right now we've got our AI generative platform on Discord. You've got basically any AI model you can think of available within a Discord bot. So you can do so many things. We'll show you a bunch more things. If you scroll down a little, Jake, you'll see I switched the background on someone else's gen, for example, that got made live during the stream. You can see the robot got made there, and then I swapped out for the space background. So there's just so many different things like that inside a HYBot that you can play around with and explore and discover. I think there's 15 different video models now, and around the same number of image models. You've got all the different 3D model generators, etc. We can show you some image editing. Jake, if you go through the list of commands on your screen, we'll see just how many are available.
I mean, it's so extensive, isn't it? You guys have absolutely smashed it. And have you got any funding from like HBAR Foundation, and what are you totally bootstrapped?
Because we have a lot of skills in house basically, and because we currently function purely as an API gateway, so we're connecting to other APIs and aggregating them. We don't actually have much cost to operate. We will soon once we start running our own cloud GPUs, but that should also be quite efficient. That will let us lower a lot of prices, and we can scale that up as we get more users. So we'll be able to get very competitive with the API prices, which gets very important that we have our invented GPUs for a lot of those open source models. We'll undercut a lot of the competition that give easy APIs for these kind of things once we have our own by quite a significant margin, which should make our API very, very appealing for the generative AI side. And basically you have all these different things inside a HYBot that Jake can show you now. I think, are you on the model list?
Yeah, the model list here, there's 189 at the moment. You've got DeepSeek, you've got the fine tunes as well. There's uncensored, the censored models, there's all different things. I think when you're creating an agent as well, like some of these uncensored models are much better for, the persona of the agent. So you'll have like a fine tune. A really nice one that we've been using is Dolphin.
I just remembered the grant question in terms of funding. I'll just finish that up. We nearly missed that. So no, we've had no grants. We haven't really raised much funds. We haven't raised any funds really, because we started as HashPimps back in 2022 as just an art NFT collection. We sold that first mint for I think a total of 80,000 HBARs, and we haven't really sold anything since. But we do have the royalties on the NFTs and with a 1% fee on the HY token. So that gives us a sustainable way of keeping ourselves going without being a massive amount of HY tokens for sale. So we're not actually adding to the circulating supply when we sell to sustain ourselves, basically.
Yeah. What I would say here, lads, is that obviously the HBAR Foundation has just gone through quite a big shift, and they're looking to do a lot of stuff with AI, and I think you guys are in a really good position, given you've built the product and you've got a roadmap, and you've got the community as well. Like it seems, I don't know. Let's catch up afterwards. I can get you in touch with the head of the AI fund, and you can sort of ping over him a proposal, because
that'd be great.
What you've got is working really well. And I think basically it's projects like these which the community, which entities like HBAR Foundation need to accelerate, because that acceleration will be beneficial for everyone. And as you were mentioning earlier, not other Discord AI providers don't even have 1/10 of what you guys have.
I think as well, like it's hard. Like this is our flagship. We've only spoken about HYBot. Like we're doing a lot of different other things with AI as well in terms of gaming. We've got a gaming API that we're making with NFTs and creating AI personas for games. Got testnet account ID tokenization. So basically having you'd be able to test, like you'd be able to I don't know if I want to get into this like a bit too much, and we'll focus more on the AI side. But
Yeah, I think we should
be a-
focus on the
yeah,
live AI part right now, I think.
but yeah, you know, there's a lot of other things that we're building as well. That, you know, that's just super cool. But HYBot is obviously our flagship that we're focused on now because it's live. You know, let's try and push that out there, like get as many people using it. And yeah,
well, let's get people in the Discord. I mean, you guys should be able to drop a comment in here, and I can get it pinned up. Do you want to maybe just drop in the Discord link, and sort of people can
in the comments of
yeah, pop
sure.
it in the comments, and I'll get it up, and I'll share it around on my LinkedIn. Sorry,
yeah, for sure.
Twitter. I can do it on LinkedIn as well. Okay, so then while we're doing that, I had a second question, because this, like, I'm super big on this whole pay-per-use concept, where using distributed ledger technology and low fees, we can really change the business model from being sort of, you've got to pay a subscription, or you've got to pay for like a large amount of credits. You can sort of swing it on its head and go for that micro payment approach, pay-per-use. Now, when it comes to AI, and I see if you've got your own GPUs, you can run open source models and it'd be fine. But when I've been sort of thinking myself, because I'm like you guys, I love building, I love being an entrepreneur. But when I've been sort of thinking about the commercial models for using APIs, which you presumably pay for in pounds or fiat or dollars, but you're getting paid in crypto. How is that? How is that sort of interfacing at the moment? Is that a problem which you guys have faced, or have you come up with a resolution for it? We're really keen to hear your guys' thoughts.
Yeah, so right now we just convert it through Coinbase. We charge a 20% fee on top of whatever our costs are, which includes any fees, etc. we have. So every cost we have in terms of conversions are all covered in the fee we charge on top of transactions. And since every transaction is a set cost for us, or generally a set cost, we just add a set fee on top, and then that includes all our costs for conversions, etc., which is usually quite small. We can just swap them into HBAR, and then we can just deposit the HBAR into Coinbase. Quite cheap process. And when you've got it's only a few percent at most that it comes up to. So it really doesn't affect us too much. We can definitely make that process a lot more efficient, though, than we currently have done. But at the current scale, it works very well. But yeah, we'll definitely need to get more of a better process as we scale up to more users, etc., more cash flowing through. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's not really too much an issue for us. I think we're able to scale as we need to with that. Yeah. Every single transaction right now makes a set profit. And you can track all the profits as well, because there's a token burn for high out of them. So if you go onto the credit dashboard, you can see the amount of credits being used in total. You can see the monthly totals for all users, not individual users, the aggregate of all users. There's no personal details in there. And yeah, you've got all these different things. And also, as the stream goes, Jake, if you can keep this around the bottom, I'll start showing different things inside the HYBot. I'll go into the channel. I'll start generating things. If anyone else wants to go into the channel too, this is a really good time to go and make some generations in the public channel that everyone can see on stream.
Yeah. Great. I did add it, Jay, in our comments, because I don't have premium on StreamYard. So yeah. I was trying to directly add our Discord. But yeah, one thing, just while you're doing that, on the credit dashboard as well, eventually when we have this backed up on the consensus service, I don't know if Lee wants to get into is for any idea of HCS SQL. But yeah, we'll have a credit system.
Hang on. HCS SQL, did I just hear? We got to talk more about that.
Yeah, Lee, I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I can a little bit. I don't want to. It'll probably bore a lot of the audience. But
it might do. No, let's do it to a high level, because this sounds interesting for us nerd bros.
Yeah, so know how you usually have like a type of SQL database. So it's basically a way for you to have a SQL database that has live backups going onto the Hedera consensus service that you can use to restore the database to any timestamp from the consensus service on an immutable storage. This is only for quite small scale databases, or ones that only have quite high charges every time there's an update. Like ours, because we're AI, so each usage is fairly expensive. So it's a very insubstantial amount to pay an HCS fee each single time. So we'll be able to keep our entire database synced with a HCS topic that includes all the different tables, etc., within the database. And then if anything ever happened, we could just restore it from any point on the HCS. It'd probably take a while to sync back up. And it's not really something you'd want to use as a live database. You won't want to use it directly. You could, but as a backup of a database you have on your local system, and then you have that immutable backup that just can't be touched by anyone. And then it's completely resistant to anything like ransomware attacks, etc. And you can encrypt all the data as well. Obviously, you don't want people to read all that.
Yeah. But equally, there might be a use case where actually you want to have that data public as well. So
Absolutely. So you can choose for each part whether to encrypt it or not.
Yeah. Bro, that's awesome. I mean, we've just got a nice comment from Silent Architects. I'm bullish on devs that talk about things I don't understand. So we'll balance it. We won't do too much of that. But I love that. And have you guys connected at all with people like Cantor, who's obviously working on HashGraph online and those sorts of standards? Because it sounds like there is synergy with what you're building on top of consensus, with what you're building on top of HCS and what they're doing.
Yeah, there's nothing really too formal, but we have discussed once we have some of these standards finalized, we're going to open source these standards, protocols, etc. And we've got 2 protocols we're going to be open sourcing, which is the HCSQL and the encrypted messaging service. So we've already actually shared that with quite a big project, but I'm not sure I'm at liberty to say who yet, really. But if they're even going to implement it. But I have a protocol for encrypting messaging through Hedera that encrypts. So you use their public key to encrypt the message, and only they can read it. They get sent in through HCS. So that's really cool as well. Because it's in a similar tech branch with encryption, etc. So I'm doing quite a few similar things that can eventually come towards a bigger picture, which I'm starting to see. So let's say this isn't really something I'm working on right now, but with something like an encrypted messaging protocol.
Yeah, I remember you on one of the Telegram channels. You were talking about that as well. I think I remember, man. You showed a wicked video demo of you basically doing sort of generating Hedera transactions. Sending
that was cool. I'll share my screen actually on that post if you want me to share on that.
Bro, let's see it. Yeah. Because this was a few months back now. This is like sort of before,
And I'll let pass it over to Atuzi in a second, because like this front end, like it's pretty incredible at doing that. That's why I'm super excited about the web app.
Well, not the bit you're about to show. That was just me doing some random stuff.
No, not the SDK.
That wasn't a show.
Yeah, I mean this post here.
I'm not sure if my post showed that, but you can basically make a request to the AI to make any mirror node prompt, so you can get information from Hedera or any actual transaction and then execute it within the application. So that's going to be really crazy, but it's a little bit risky to trust an AI to make a transaction right now. So it's mostly just a cool demo.
For sure.
But yeah, it's a really cool tech. We'll start seeing more of that in wallets. So it's basically a wallet that can make any transaction. Like I asked it to make a HCS topic and then make a message, a 1, 2, and 3 message, 3 individual messages to that topic. It generated the code, then I pressed execute, and it made the whole topic and all the messages inside it in one go, just off a request.
Nice.
So I wouldn't really trust that in the wild too much yet, just because people are going to do terrible things to their wallets with the AI code. But it is a really cool showcase of what's going to become a lot more mainstream.
At least keeping that human in the loop, the human approves it, is probably a nice middle ground for the time being.
Yeah, to an extent, but a lot of the people that would use something like that won't be devs, so it's going to be hard for them to human review it. But there is another method you can do with AI, which is where you basically have multiple different AI models that can verify each other. So you can have, let's say you have just a normal model like GPT-4o generates the code. You have Claude Sonnet 3.5 verify that it's good code. You have Long 3.3 verified it's good code. And if you get a few verifications, you can be very sure with these completely different foundational models that they're not all going to be wrong at once. Pretty much.
AI has come to consensus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a consensus between AIs, which is something I thought about also with the consensus service, but it's for another time.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Go on. Well, look, Watusi, I'd love to hear sort of a bit more from you. What's obviously we've had a lot of Jake, we had a lot of Lee. What's your sort of role at HYZEN? Are you mainly doing the UI designs, mock-ups, or you dabbling with other stuff as well? No, we can't hear you at the moment, bro.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we're good now.
Clear.
Hey, what's going on, guys? First of all, I have to say, I just realized you cut your hair, Jay, and I didn't know what show I was on. I didn't recognize you,
Bro.
dude. I've been watching your tutorials. They've been helping me a lot, man. Thank you.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's gone. Unfortunately, it's not. It was quite long and luscious before, but now it's a bit wacky.
Yeah, I was like a few minutes in, I was like, wait a minute. I've been watching this guy
Bro,
for
I swear he was going to be talking with Jay Cool. Who's this guy?
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. It's been helping. Yeah. Speaking of the tutorials, been doing a lot of HashGraph development, a lot of AI development, a lot of product design, and bringing that all to the HYZEN team to bring kind of a product design flair and aspect to the project. Right now, working on a lot of things. Just we had to make some changes to our wallet theme for our hashpack theme. Working on the Gossip app, working on the HYZEN app. And what's really cool about the HYZEN app is I think it's going to really blow the whole thing open, because we're going to have a GUI layer on the HyBot, and we're going to be able to combine functions and the and on an application in ways that you can't do on Discord. So it's like having, maybe I could, yeah, I really want to show you, but I probably shouldn't. But
Bro, look, if we can get some alpha in here,
there might be still some like
preview.
videos, there might still some videos on the Twitter, but it's gonna be like, you know, Photoshop, you know, having a Photoshop, having like a an interface that you can generate videos, take an image, add sound effects, edit the video, you know, an interface that's a lot more control over content creation and the functions that HyBot has. Also, you know, developing products around Babel, around the different functions of the kind of opportunities we have, being able to aggregate these different AI models. We're able to pretty much bring functionality from any model and do whatever we want with it. So yeah, that main app is probably the most important thing right now.
Nice. And what's the timeline on this? Is it something in the next couple of months, a bit longer, a bit shorter?
I'd say probably the next month or so. We'll see the HyBot web app in its first phase. I don't know if Lee wants to add to that as well, but Bertuzzi's done pretty much a lot of the front end, and it looks clean. That's what the least I can say. I'm super excited about it. But I think we should be aiming for, like, I don't know, we hate to give time frames, you know, because it's always hard, but maybe a month or so for the web app. But
yeah, a lot of the code's done. Like, a lot of it is done. It's just infrastructural things, I guess, you gotta figure out.
Yeah, and security as well. You've got to
it's mostly waiting on me. So I mostly just need to pull all the functionality inside the HyBot into the web app interface that Bertuzzi has made, and then we're gonna have exactly what's in HyBot on Discord that you can try now. Jake, if you pull up the stream again, you can see we've been using it a little bit.
Sure.
If you keep on, we'll go through all the different functionality just in the background. Just,
sorry, Lee, didn't catch you there.
But yeah, basically what I'm saying is, in the web app, we're going to have a few more features also that you can't have inside Discord. So in Discord, we only have the automated editing of images through search and replace, which lets you automatically search an area, and then you can replace it with inpainting. So in the web app, we're going to have our own inpainting interface where you can select an area and then inpaint with any model you want. So there's quite a few extra inpainting models that I can use inside the web app that are on there. So there will be a few more features in the web app than the Discord even. But the Discord is already so packed with features that we haven't even started to really explore on this stream. So that's going to be really fun to go through still. And yeah, it shouldn't be too long until the web app is ready. It's mostly just the stuff that's already in HyBot, so it's not too much of a massive port.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be under a month, I'd say.
Nice. Oh, that's wicked, bro. And then so from the would you take a similar, because obviously you're doing sort of credits at the moment. Would you do a similar credits thing, or would you have like, I don't know, maybe you give an approval allowance and then it just debits it from your account on the fly, or would you have to sort of do that lump sum payment first?
Yeah, so we're probably going to offer it as two different options where you can either top it up like you do right now. Personally, a lot of times if I go to an application in Web3 and they ask me to connect my wallet, that's usually what I click off, because I just hate connecting my wallet to really anything.
Fair.
And yeah, so I like to have that option, but also I know that it'd be a lot easier for people just to create an allowance and then have us take the tokens as they use them out of the wallet with an allowance. So we're also going to add that option where you can sign an allowance to do that. So yeah, we're going to have both options available. It's probably going to start with the current option. That's basically like an exchange where you can deposit into it, and then you have credits. But yeah, if you see where it says credits used, you'll see that it's actually using whatever you topped up with directly as the credits. So it's got a little price oracle built into it where it's getting the price from sources for, and then it will calculate it based on a dollar cost for each AI function within it.
Right, yes.
And you actually pay the credits with what you've topped up with. So you can pay the credits in HBAR or with High right now. We're going to add other HCS tokens. We're going to add a whole bunch of them, any with decent liquidity. And yeah, it's going to really expand us a lot.
Sorry, I just randomly showed the 3D model that someone generated. That's a sloth then, but it's cool.
That's great to show you.
That took a few minutes, and he had a 3D model of the sloth. So I just thought I'd show that. So yeah, I just downloaded it and showed it on a 3D. But it's cool, like everyone coming in and playing around with 3D models. We had Two Fingers a new community. I did one for Hashmaster the other day. I made him like a 3D model of it. It's really, we did a boon. I think James from HBAR Car came in and did a boon. And I just did the HYZEN logo. It was just fun. You can have like these tools, and it's advanced so much over the last year. Some of these like modalities and capabilities of AI that I think it's just on a rapid rate now where we're just like that. We're just going to, boom. But yeah, it's just crazy. I've really enjoyed playing around with, our own tools. That's when you're building something cool, is when you enjoy using it yourself. I think that's a big thing.
Yeah. I love the community side to it. And I think we really need to, guys, if any of you who are watching this, we've got 734 people now have tuned in. So shout out to all of you, big respects. Share this around. We're only going to be going on for about 20 more minutes. But I think if you are a community manager, if you're involved sort of in projects and you don't have the HyBot inside of your Discord, bro, you're missing out, because it just adds like another dimension of community to it. You can have this, you can have this chatbot with this AI which you absolutely violate, or like an AI which you create content for to boost your particular project, to ask generic questions. I mean, there's so much, and especially with the character stuff. I mean, oh mate, imagine if like, yeah, this is really cool. Awesome. Okay. Well, look, I'm happy to sort of bump over to some of the questions which we got from the from our communities. But before I do that, is there any more features which you want to quickly show? Anything else which you want to add?
Not really. I was going to jump into like sort of a question that I saw earlier as well about how can people monetize, like users and developers monetize like AI on Hedera. And I think where we stand in that is, if you're not a dev and you want to add, HyBot to your server, then a cut of profits from the bot, there we go. Like you can earn from that. If you're a dev, then you can use the HYZEN API and have all these different tools in. So I think we stand for both the user and, developers as well. But yeah, I'll get into the questions, because I think that was one of the questions, is how can, be monetized. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that as we're trying to build something for everyone and to be involved in, basically.
Bro, and that's it. Nowadays, you need to be building stuff which devs can use, because again, on that scalability point, if someone can take your tech and you're just that underlying service provider, you get a small percentage every time they use it. But all of a sudden, you're then exposing yourself to all of that, to whichever audience that dev is able to create. So let's go over to the questions then. We'll keep the Discord up just so we can see what people are cooking up in the background. That was my prompt there. I said create a what did I say? I said create create a photo of four handsome people chilling, talking about AI and Web3 business, and it's done a bunch of. It looked a bit like that's me. So.
Oh, yeah, the one you see there, I took your photo that you generated, I turned into a video you can see on there.
Oh, nice. Okay. So that's you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the roughly 15 video models. That's Kling 1.6 standard, which is probably my favorite in there because it's just so much cheaper than the rest, while being probably the best quality as well.
So how much is 40 high at the moment in dollars?
Well, high is roughly about 5 cents or 4 or 5 cents right now.
Okay.
No, not 4,
I don't actually know.
0.4 cents. Yeah.
Okay, so that's like what, a couple of dollars or so then?
For the Kling generation, that'll be about just over 20 cents. So it won't be much about that.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's good. It's just that sort of, and it's great to be like everyone in Web3 has too much crypto than we should have, or not enough, depending on your outlook. But it's really cool that you can sort of leverage that for real life stuff like this. Okay, let's go to the questions. And so the first one, I'm going to focus on stuff about HYZEN today. And then we've got an interesting hybrid one. So we've got what's next for HYZEN, any upcoming updates, integrations, or game-changing innovations we should be excited about. I know we've covered that already, but I would be interested if you just do like maybe a one-liner summary and try keep it brief so we can move to the next one, just in case anyone recently joined.
So the next big thing I think we have is Babel V2. So Babel V1 had a bit of a spam issue because it made all the channels public for all different languages, so everyone's getting pinged with it constantly. But Babel V2 basically allows everyone in Discord of different languages to all speak, and then the AI converts all the different languages into all the different supported languages, then everyone can just speak together into their own channels, and the bot just middlemans the messages into their own language, into the different channels. And you can see some of the Babel V1 generations there, but soon that will come back online, and you're able to choose which channels to go into. So that's going to be very useful for servers, especially multilingual ones. I know we've got a lot of Spanish community on Hedera, so they'll be able to speak in Spanish in their own Spanish channel, and it will get converted into the English channel and vice versa, or any other supported languages, and then you can all just speak through the bot, and you can see who's talking to you, etc. So it basically just breaks down language barriers. So it's like you're all just having your own language, which is why it's called Babel, after the Tower of Babel. And we constantly got HiBot updates as well in terms of new models, etc. Jake, if you go into the lounge and click my message link to the HiBot channel, you can see what's coming in a few days, the model updates going into HiBot. So we're constantly adding new models as they come out, etc. So you pretty much always got whatever's the cutting edge available with each modality within it. And then we keep all the old ones too. So you just got a massive range of choices all the time of whatever is new and available. And that's pretty much
to keep it short and concise. To keep it short and concise, what's coming? More models and stuff in the bot. Web app and Telegram expansion. After the web app and Telegram expansion, I think we'll start working on gossip and some other things. We've been speaking to some projects about gaming and creating some games, like a game for them with AI. We'll start diving into different things. It's a lot like with a team of 3. I think these two hats off to two developers right here. We get a lot done. I just think there's a lot coming in terms of like a lot of different cool applications into different areas of crypto and AI as well. But
yeah, man, you guys are absolutely smashing it for a team of 3. Poof, is really doing an amazing job. Okay, next question. AI in Web3 is still early. Where do you see it in 5 years? Now, let's keep this answer specific to AI in Web3, that sort of overlap, because obviously AI is super broad and it's going to be everywhere in 5 years. So let's go. Where do you see it in 5 years? No pressure if it's wrong, because 5 years in AI is 50 years in any normal industry. Lee, I think you're going to have some pretty awesome ideas over here. So I'm keen to hear from you first.
Yeah. So in terms of 5 years in AI, well, even with current, let's say AI model stopped right now, like all the progress, we just stay where we are. We already have the tools to do all sorts of different agentic tasks with the infrastructure built on top of them. They're already quite smart. So we can actually see them starting to use crypto networks as well, there's two things for crypto networks. They can provide a currency which isn't controlled by any central authority, basically, and they can provide consensus between things. So AI can benefit from both of those two things. So AIs can come to a consensus by using a ledger to basically just put all their different thoughts into. Like the way I said, an AI could have a little council of AIs where they verify each other. Those verifications could be posted onto a HCS topic, where you can verify that that confirmation came from that provider of that AI where they hosted it. Maybe you could use something like the built-in verifications for chips with some like equity labs to then have an extra layer of verification on top of that. There's other architectures you can do where you basically have a little DAppNet of a DAppNet of AI nodes that all come together. And I don't want to give the idea away exactly, but yeah, you can do cool stuff like that where they come to a consensus on the responses individually. And there's all sorts of things where they can do like the messaging I mentioned through Hedera. That'll be possible. You can have AI agent communication going through these through these DNS networks.
Just on that point, because obviously I'm totally with you in terms of you've got that currency value transfer, which an AI cannot transfer value through the existing legacy financial infrastructure. It's just never going to happen. They can't get a bank account. But on the second point, the consensus and messaging point, would you say that Hedera is quite uniquely positioned to provide this second point, or have you seen other chains which have something more akin to the consensus service where you can have this, like, not a token layer but a communication consensus messaging layer?
I've experimented on a couple of different chains, especially with art. Art is a really good way to apply logic to test things, and I found Hedera is the easiest to kind of access and to build on. The layer that Hedera is able to do, and the speed it's able to do, and the cost that it's able to do it at is there's nothing that really can do it. Like there's other chains that can kind of do similar things here and there, but HBAR pretty much it feels the most just like the internet, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. So we have the HCS, Hedera Consensus Service. So with any chain, you can post a message onto basically any chain, and you can use it in like a kind of Frankenstein way to run a consensus through. But with Hedera, we have a service that is directly for that.
Yes.
And extremely low cost with organized topics. We have it all basically bundled up for devs to make a tiny few lines of code with the SDK.
Yeah.
And they have their own Hedera consensus layer built. They have a messaging layer. And that is just so easy with Hedera. You can predict the costs exactly. It's extremely cheap. I can't really think of any network that has a cheaper message, like where you can post a message for so cheap with such a high throughput. And I just can't really think of anywhere else where it's such a streamlined service where you can just have these consensus and messaging layers just already available, just ready to build on. Yeah, I think it's the easy use, predictability of use, the throughput, and you have the trust of the council as well. All these things, most networks have like maybe one or two of them at most. Hedera has all these different qualities that just make it a really good layer for these things to be built on.
Definitely agree. Well, Tisi, we'll get to you, Jake, where you see, but you mentioned something, because Tisi, am I right in thinking that you've only been developing sort of relatively recently, or have you been deving for a while?
I've been deving on Hedera fairly recently.
Yeah. So did you find particularly, this is me like now with my DevRel hat and just trying to better understand the developer's experience, was it sort of just the SDKs which were really easy to use, or we've got some good shout out Pluto, he's on here, but yeah, I'm really interested in hearing your experience about what made Hedera that friendly to use for you.
The SDKs are definitely good. They definitely help. JavaScript is a really accessible language to get into, and you can pretty much do a lot with just JavaScript. And it's been pretty smooth, relatively smooth to kind of transition and like, how do you say, kind of connect and plug things in. Because it's like, it feels like it was pretty well made for people to pick up and use like any other kind of thing is. It kind of fits in with everything else.
Yeah. In terms of like npm install, you've got these, you import these classes, you create your transactions. Whereas would you say that sort of your Web3 EVM, your sort of more Solidity style stuff is a bit higher learning curve relative to just being able to get straight into it?
Definitely. Yeah. The learning curve with the Solidity EVM stuff is definitely harder. It's definitely harder to like pick up. I would say if you're an entrepreneur, an artist, somebody who wants to do blockchain stuff, and you don't consider yourself a blockchain person, then Hedera would probably be the easiest thing to kind of just get into and do something that's actually going to be, make some value.
Bro, that's a bar there. That's literally a bar. Because do you know what? So if you want to do blockchain stuff, you're not a blockchain person, choose the HashGraph.
Yeah.
Choose the HashGraph. But we are kind of moving more to a block. Okay. Anyway, Jake, that was really, really useful insights, bro. I appreciate that with 2C. Jake, what about you? Where do you see AI and Web3 in 5 years' time?
It's a tough question. Like I've spoke about, obviously, AI-driven gaming before. I think it's going to be a massive thing in terms of characters in games, having their own personality, things like that. And Lee, if you want to expand on like a JSON output in terms of what we were talking about before in games, that would be cool. I think AI and gaming is going to go like next level to something like we don't expect. Other things I'll say before I'll let us cook into the gaming area. I think agents as well. Being completely autonomous. I think we're seeing like things now where that's happening, especially in terms of DeFi. Trading, farming, staking assets in DeFi. I think we'll see that eventually happen from agents, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think it's kind of unpredictable because we're moving so quick. So I'd like to keep my mind open about it. But yeah, we're trying to definitely build towards the 5 years. Like we're going to be a project, that goes on for years and years, like and adapts to the way AIs adapt, like changing. But yeah, I kind of think it's just, it's unpredictable in my opinion. But in AI and gaming is something that I think is going to massively change. And just like Lee said before, eventually we're going to be able to generate, movies and things like that from prompts, rather than just 5-second videos from certain models. But yeah, we're slowly going off topic. But in terms of Web3, I think, NFTs, DeFi, all these certain characteristics in crypto are just going to massively change with AI. That's the way I see it. So
one thing which I've been talking about a fair bit, and sort of with some of the circles that I'm involved in, is this sort of idea of agent to agent commerce, where again honing in on the fact that agents can, probably with a better agents will have a better user experience with crypto than humans. The agents don't need to really go do wallets in that. They have a private key and boom, they use the private key. So on that point of using blockchain and DLT as that value transfer layer, and as a follow-up, agents then transacting value between themselves. Do you think this is, what are your thoughts on that as a potential future? How might that look? Or would they maybe interact without exchanging value? That's another sort of question I have, is like, would agents transfer value with each other? Would they do things for free? Let me hand it over to you to hear your thoughts on it, because I think there's a lot where it could go.
I'll take that. So in terms of all the exchange value, so everything will always exchange value forever. I don't think we're ever going to move out of a valueless economy. What we are going to see is resources becoming incredibly abundant and cheap, but there's always going to be value, because what produces those abundant resources? How much would the machine cost that creates 1,000 people's worth of resources, etc.? There's always going to be a scale to that where you can add value into it, even if the base units that everyone needs are extremely cheap. the things that people want will become extremely extravagant. And then you have to attach a value to that as you go beyond whatever's the cutting edge capabilities, what we can create with the resources we have. So yeah, there'll always be value exchange, no matter how advanced we get, I believe. And I think that answers most of that. And yeah, in terms of crypto, it makes sense for agents to use crypto. It's a no-brainer, really. That you can just transact without really any issue. You can see in that demo you mentioned I made, even that was quite an old 4.0 model as well, not even the best AI model right now. And that was pretty reliable in making a range of transactions on Hedera without any actual, I didn't give any actual extra knowledge on top of that.
Oh, that was its base model, no RAG.
That was just the 4.0 model, being told you have a Hedera SDK installed in your environment, and you can write code for the SDK. You have a private key in the environmental variables. You can just do whatever you want with it, basically. And it writes the code, and then you can review the code and execute it. And we're going to see really advanced versions. We have wallets that are basically just an AI interface where you can ask it for any transaction you want, and it'll verify that it's good code, etc. And it'll be able to do it for you. And that can be more of an agentic thing also, where it can be a multi-step process, where you can make a whole range of transactions inside of one prompt. It will prepare them all. Maybe even things like advanced DeFi transactions.
Yeah.
Like you put up like a whole flash loan flow, etc. Just with a single prompt. You point to all sorts of cool things like that.
Yeah.
We're going to see really just everyone getting full access to what these networks are capable of. Because right now, the average user is limited by the tools available. So let's say the token minting service, only devs could use that for quite a while on Hedera because there just wasn't a token minting tool for quite some time. I open sourced one, and then we saw HashGraph released a way better one, and then that's inside the wallet, so mine became completely obsolete. And yeah, we've seen these different parts of the Hedera SDK just not accessible to people still. Like, how does the average person make submit a transaction onto HCS while being a dev? AI is going to close that bridge between what normal people can do and what devs can do. So we're going to see just a full range of usage from these networks from the average user that we haven't seen yet, on top of just agents using them.
Yeah, that's facts. That's absolute facts. Cool. Any other thoughts? I've got a couple more questions. I did want to say let's wrap up on the hour because I want to get ready for bed. But on the so well, this is a good question. Where do you see the biggest real-world applications for AI agents on Hedera? What industries or use cases are set to explode? I've got a feeling you guys are quite bullish on the gaming side of things, but maybe outside of gaming, can you see any other industries? DeFi is one, Lee, which you just alluded to.
As far as industries that could leverage it on Hedera, I imagine maybe customer service, maybe the medical industry. With agentic stuff, you got to be careful, and seems like something that could be crazy, but it's also something that could be crazy. So it's one of those things that, like, it's unpredictable where it could go, but there's kind of this effect where sometimes with things where it doesn't get as crazy as you think it's gonna get. What with like agents and industries, who knows, man? Probably medical industry. I think customer service is like an obvious one.
Yeah, I think in terms of AI, the range of uses is pretty much every single aspect of life, every single industry. So when you have a general question like that, it can be really hard to narrow them down because you can basically pick any specific area, industry, person, etc., and you can find a way that it's going to impact them. And then if you have something like Hedera as a consensus layer, making sure that AIs are secure, etc., doing like you're running the model you think you are, it's being run how you think it is when you're not running it locally. That's something we're going to see more of. And then these are more verifiable AI models that you're running for more critical tasks. These can apply to pretty much every single thing you can think of in some way. So yeah, it's really hard to give a specific answer because it does almost an impact on everything you can think of.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
It's like AI is like it's not really a trend. It's like it's gonna be at the foundation of the infrastructure of society as we know it.
Mm,
Like
yeah,
it's the new thing. It is like our new reality.
yeah. It's like,
It's
I
just
think
gonna,
they're saying it, the fourth industrial revolution, or fifth,
yeah,
or
right. It's
whatever
just
they
gonna
are.
keep going and going up. Every industry is not gonna be influenced by AI. Every industry is gonna be AI.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's not
straight up.
it's not just a hype thing. It's no, cool. Well, look, I mean, bros, honestly, I had an absolute blast, and I know that the people tuning in, they really, really love the demos, and I hope, I don't know if you can track Discord, but hopefully there's been a few new people in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sweet.
Hopefully we can come back on as well and talk
Bro.
about different topics and things, like, because
Sure.
there's a lot to talk about
Sure.
that we may have missed, but like, and I know yourself as well with your project, like hats off for what you've created and the community that you've built as well. So it'd be nice to hear a bit more about the agent side and what you're doing with Hello Agents, because I haven't seen, I've just seen the interface and it looks cool.
Well, let's definitely, when that Telegram bot's ready, that's definitely going straight into the Hello Agents group chat. We need another agents. We need another episode. Yes, we do. So we'll definitely stay in touch. I mean, also a big thing which I really like to do on this sort of HashGraph Hustlers. The whole thing about it was actually I just basically live coding, building a project, and just live streaming it. So if there is any maybe pair programming that we can do or something to that effect, I'd also be down.
Let's do that.
Jake, I mean, maybe you'd have to watch on the sidelines, Jake, cheering us on. But you're also welcome there.
Maybe I should just learn, using it. It's that powerful now. I could, like, I've been, Matusi's been pushing me, and I was tempted to jump on Cursor the other day and have a go and see what I could do. But yeah, it was cool.
I built a really cool AI flow just the other day. Oh, bro, fuck it, I'll show it. Let me show it, because I like showing stuff. So give me 2 seconds. So we've got the so basically, it's like it's sort of Lee. You said this earlier. Agents are basically just it's just like a framework built on top of LLMs. So I always struggle to know whether to call something an agent or not, and it seems like everything's now an agent. So I guess this is an agent.
So I'll say a little bit in terms of what an agent is. It's mostly something that works towards a task in ways that it decides. So it's something like a cursor. We have the agent mode where it has a task to create a certain application, and then it will go through the process. It will run the code, etc. It will see the outputs. It will write new code to debug it, things like that, and it works towards a certain task. That then, basically, it works towards a task. So it does actually get into a very grey area though, because when you start having chatbots that are choosing who to reply to. Exactly. It's still on a lot of rails, but I'd say it's semi-agentic. It's really great.
That's the grey area which I'm talking about. It's like
you could say that
the crypto definition. The crypto definition definitely does include those agents, but I'd say the traditional AI definition, the kind of grey area, the half there, it's hard to pinpoint.
AI.
Well, anyway, this is
agent. Like you could say that a program can have a degree of agency. An agent would be like an actor that has the ability to make decisions without instruction. I would.
Anyway, let me quickly show this sort of end-to-end flow, because it's using a pretty cool. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of app scripts. So Google app scripts are essentially, it's like you can sort of enrich the Google Workspace suite with some JavaScript code, a Google app script, and that can call APIs. It can sort of interface with the document, and it can call other Google Workspace stuff. So what I built here, is assume that basically the use case is I'm on a call with a team who are looking to build a product. They're looking to build an MVP. And the point of that call is to gather the requirements, understand what potential tech stack they want to use, how mature they are, where sort of they've come at, what their audience is, basically the stuff that you should gather prior to going into building a product. So Google Gemini then transcribes all of it. This is just a mock test with a buddy. Google Gemini transcribes all of it. I've then got this. I've got this little this custom app script which converts it to a semi-structured format. Obviously, this is just an LLM prompt saying, okay, here's the text. Now fit it in, basically fill out a Google form, and then put it into a spreadsheet so that it becomes a bit more structured. So that's just happened now. So if I go over to the spreadsheet, which is over here, this is the, so this is it. So as you can see today, 19th of February, it's created this, it's like populated this spreadsheet with wrap. Yeah. So it's got the key functional requirements.
Oh,
the yeah. But that's not it. It's not done yet, Briz. This is 10% of it.
All right.
So then there is, so it's basically structured it. It's created a structure for it. Preferred tech stack. Some of it's just optional. These ones here are that they have to be filled out. But then there's another app script which is attached to this form. So the form links into the you basically have the app script on the document, submits it to the form. There's then this other app script over here which listens to whenever there's a form submission, and it takes that form submission, it takes all of that structured data, and it then puts it into this prompt template. So this is like a template which ChatGPT 03 or whatever created for me. It puts all of that structured data into this prompt to then create an architecture. So that architecture should have been, by now it should be done. It took 51 seconds. I'm using one of the models that Reason, and then it's created this 9-page architecture. So it specifies again a bit high level over to what it is, use cases, tech stack. So it's specified, I think I just saw Pinecone or Weave8 for the vector database, hosting Replit, architecture. It would have created API design, all of that stuff. The idea then is, after this, I've not automated this bit, but I have another prompt which creates which goes from the architecture to creating prompts that a user, that a dev can then pair program with Cursor. So we could do this now, and it would create sort of 10 to 15 prompts, giving that developer a bit of a structure, saying, okay, look, hit first of all, set up the project, boom, and then it will give the details as to what the project is. The developer puts that prompt in. They can do a bit of collaborative pair programming with Cursor or whichever LLM powered IDE they have. Go on to the next one. Okay, I need you to build this Flask API, set up the Flask API. Now do the authorization endpoints. And it sort of structures it all in a chronological idea. And bro, this was something.
Dude, okay. So I noticed you put it, the word second brain in there.
That was my friend. That was my friend's
second brain. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of the second brain and speaking of chronological, can I show you if we have time?
Great. Yeah.
I'll show you something, a little bit of like an example. This isn't necessarily HYZEN specific, but it reminded me of something I'm working on. What you did, kind of about the logic of routing prompts and building like a database of chronology. I have a couple. Oh shit, dude! Oh my god, how much time do we have? Where'd the stream?
We'll keep it running. We'll keep it rolling.
Where'd the stream go?
We're still here, bro. Don't worry.
I need to.
Don't fall asleep, Jay.
Mate, I'll tell you what.
You look snuggy there, man.
I did plan for this. I planned a half-hour buffer.
Okay, I need to share my screen. Here we go. Let me know if you can see.
Yeah, let me add it up here. There we go. Boom, we can see it.
Okay, this is my second brain. And I was thinking like, okay, years ago, I was like doing this thing, I had this idea of like a digital grimoire. And I was like, dude, everybody should do this. And I was like making a video like on YouTube series about it. People were like, yeah, I'm gonna do this shit. But then I stopped doing it. But then later on, right? I'm like, dude, a Cortex. like a central cortex that you can route everything to, and kind of like a similar idea. So this is like a so how do I start? Okay, let me go fast. This is like a current thought process panel, and there's a database. My VPN keeps messing stuff up, so I don't know if I can look at the. Yeah, I have to run into my room and get my iPad to go show you the database. But there's a database of like thoughts, right? And the thoughts is like the top level of what's going on. So there's a strategic cortex here. So what I can do, okay, so this is like the whole thing, right? All of these, so this is an elements pool, and this is like an pool of elements of like different projects I'm working on, different thoughts, and they all have details. And this is all backed by a database, right?
Yeah.
And they have tags. This is LifeNode, and LifeNode is my app. Is this other app that I'm testing? This is backed by, oh fuck, I can't do it here. There's another app that runs like a journal. It's like a personal journal, runs a feed into here. And then I have another app that probably won't work, but I'll try. Yeah, Vercel won't let me load because of my VPN.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, bro, how about on we'll definitely do another call.
Yeah.
We could go through this maybe in another session if
yeah, for sure.
If we're gonna have to go to your iPad and do that stuff.
We got trading wallets and like a financial section, and there's another financial like management app that all runs in here, and then you can go up to the cortex, and you can generate like a strategic. It'll run through all the data, and it'll put into context with like everything basically into context. It'll come up with like a strategic kind of analysis, and it's kind of like a just a well-formed prompt, right? Here comes the analysis here. But then you can take the analysis, and that adds context, and you can update the cortex, and it'll format, make it a little bigger. It'll format like a strategic plan here in the chart here, and it'll route statistics into the interface here. Eventually it'll change.
Yeah, we definitely need to. I'm loving the UI here. It's really sort of, it's like just that hacky sort of type of vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, we go for that kind of vibe.
No, we should show you the back rooms in the next episode. The back rooms
the
are
cortex
crazy.
is updated, and then we can form new thoughts. So we can go to the thoughts, and we can form, and I can just be like, all right, what you think, man? And then actually have a conversation in context, and then store that. It'll look at that, and it'll have a chronological context of the database of the most recent thoughts of all the thoughts up to that point. So it's all just a bunch of recontextualizing.
Yeah, but so sort of it's got stuff which is relevant to your life, what you need to do, what your sort of goals are, and then it's like your personal. It's like your personal strategy consultant or something, yeah?
Exactly, yeah. It's like a personal strategy consultant. And, this can be like kind of repurposed any kind of information. I imagine I was like, oh, dude, this could be an RPG game. Like there's this kind of like RPG game that I want to make that I've been wanting to make for a long time. I'm like, dude, this is all like, everything's a back end to a back end to a back end, it could be built on. That's why AI is so crazy. That's why everything's going so crazy. Because I mean, dude, we haven't started talking about robots.
You know what? We haven't, and that's something which I want to learn on, man. Because I don't know too much about the hardware side. I'm always a bit more.
Dude, I gotta get into that,
bro. But I saw like I don't know, on my Twitter it came up. There was a hackathon done at Stanford with Ivy League colleges or whatever. It's like basically a bunch of grads, basically a bunch of undergrads, at these top US universities, and they did like a 3-day hackathon. But most of the products that they built were robotics. It wasn't sort of like, and I guess that's probably the thing, which is it's less accessible to the majority of people, but it's probably going to come like a boulder when it does come. There's a lot that we can talk about. I know that we're all on the same wave, and
I've seen some really cool things in robotics, and I'm like, dude, it's intimidating, but shit, you can't not do it.
Yeah, it's got to start with like a Raspberry Pi or something to begin with.
Yeah, Arduino or something.
Arduino and that. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, look, lads, I'm happy to call it a day here. I know you guys maybe could go on a bit longer, but I don't know. I've had a really, really fun time, and definitely, like Higher Ground says, episode 2 is mandatory. It's mandatory now, guys. How did you find it? Was it good for you?
Yeah, it was fun.
Wicked. Cool.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this. It's been great. Thanks for having us on.
My pleasure. Right. Well, I'll wrap it up, and then yeah. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, cheers,
Right,
Jay.
you too.
Thank you.